So, I mean, overall, I suppose a disappointing night for you on Wednesday with that defeat to Salford.
Yeah, it was. I said I'd give it an honest appraisal after watching it on the television, the recording, and I thought the lads were really honest, put in a really good shift. Showed in passages of play what we could do when we got it down and played. But I was obviously disappointed to lose the game, and I do think there's a lot more to come from us, and hopefully we'll see that in the next 6 games.
I suppose the positive you can take is there was nothing between the sides. It was only a penalty that separated both of you.
No, I know there wasn't much at all. I think probably we didn't test their keeper as much as they tested Belly. We probably had more possession and territory, but we're talking about some decent passages of play without dominating the game, and I think we're at our best when we do pass the ball more, get more passes in. When we did do that, I don't think they were in control, and we had decent deliveries from out wide, further up the pitch. When we just went a little bit too A to B too quickly, basically from the backline of keeper to Becky, play for seconds. And listen, at all levels, they might do that to start the game, but then after the first 5 or 10 minutes, I think there's space in order to play. Don't get me wrong, the blame's firmly at my door there, because we've been a bit more pragmatic recently after conceding goals 5-6 weeks ago. Players have come in, lads have listened to instructions, and we kept some clean sheets and got us back into player positions from that more pragmatic approach. But now we've got to find the balance, because we don't want it to fizzle out just by being a percentage team. We earn the rights in games without being flaky, but then there's time to take the handbrake off and get the passes in and probe and challenge the opponents by playing football.
So you now got a home game against Maidstone, who are looking as though they could well be relegated this season. What sort of game are you expecting?
Well, I still don't think there's any easy encounter at this level. They have got pace on the counter-attack from the 2 wide men, and strength with Cassidy down the middle up front, experienced front man. So you certainly can't take any them for granted. They normally play 4-3-3. What we don't want to do is it to be slightly flat, because it's not in front of the cameras, and night games bring a special atmosphere anyway. We've got to make sure that we create the atmosphere ourselves tomorrow by getting the passes in, by exciting the crowd, and putting them on the back foot. And it won't be easy by any stretch, and got experienced management Joe behind them, but we've got to do our best to get our show back on the road, and I'm sure that the lads will give it every effort.
Do you expect to see a lot of the ball tomorrow?
From what we've discussed this morning with the players, we want to dominate the game, and that means playing through the thirds a lot more. It doesn't mean to say that we put any undue stress on the centre halves to split every time we get it, but we expect to stretch them a bit more by playing the brand of football we see in training and we've shown in games, but it's up to us to empower the players and to give them the confidence to do so.
You've only taken 1 point now at the last 9 with the draw at Barrow. Everyone keeps asking about this steady selection you've got. You almost name an unchanged team week after week. One change, I think it was the other night. Do other players now come into your thinking for tomorrow after a defeat?
Yeah, they do, because 1 point from 9, I think you can challenge the manager at any point, can't you? But when we were form team in the table, number 1 in that, from the previous games before this 1 point and 9, then it's an opinion. But I think we had a strong argument to keep it the same. I think 1 point from 9, I can understand the opinions growing stronger and being more adamant. So that's what we challenged the players, that look, we were there and now we're there on the form guide. We've got to up our game because we've got a strong squad to choose from. So other players have trained well, and they do come into the reckoning, that's for sure.
When I first got here, Dom Knowles was going through his exercises. How far away is he from a first team return, or being available to you?
Probably still 2 or 3 weeks. There's still a lot to do from jogging round. There's the twisting and turning, and then there's the contact in training scenarios. So still a few weeks away. I think Jordan Dewlis is getting closer, and he's looked really, really sharp in training. So we're up in his training. He's one of us, Jordan. You know, he'll be patient, but he'll be when he does get the kit on again, he'll be raring to go.
Anyone who's not available that's been playing recently?
No. Players are really ready to take centre stage now. I'm sure the lads who've been left out and have been patient are raring to go, and they want to make their names for themselves. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got so much riding on it now, and we challenge the players who do come into the team. Right, okay, you know, it's your opportunity. You've wanted to be playing, but you've got to do it. You know, it's a business. It's a ruthless business. I'll get in the neck if you don't, but do it more so for yourself. Go and enjoy being a good footballer, and we've got to get back to, you know, the balance of being a better footballing team and showing what we're about.
You've got 6 games left. 3 against teams at the bottom or towards the bottom. 3 against teams that are right up at the top. How important is it that you take full advantage of these next 2 games that most people would expect you to win?
Well, I think there's no point in being in denial. Yeah, you've got to take full advantage of every game, and the upcoming games that there'll be pressure on us to do it. But if we're going to end up with success at the end of the season, you've got to deal with pressure, and actually relish it. We're at a great stage of the season to be 6th in the table, but we don't want to become, you know, bow under the pressure of that. We've got to relish it and stay in the moment, and I say get the passes in and start scoring goals again. Start exciting us and the crowd and the players themselves.
And of course, hopefully, you'll hope that the crowd, 2 games in 72 hours. But the majority of those that were here on Wednesday night, would like to come back tomorrow. Yeah,
and I would say probably 6.5 out of 10 weren't we the other day, and gave a good, honest account of ourselves without being really exciting or really, you know, we're just scratching the surface really of our potential. It's down to us. If we don't tomorrow, it'll be my fault. You know, I fully accept that, but we're going to try our best to put on a better show, hopefully in front of the full crowd. It was 1,700 there the other night, and it sounded like double. 1,700 has been our our average attendance this season, and so we're hoping for the same. That's for sure. You know, to drive the lads on.
Brilliant. Thank you.